spent the evening with him. I was with him until about 1 o'clock. His spirits are good. He's confident. He is dealing with this head on, the way he's dealt with every challenge in his life, and he's not guilty. He's innocent of these charges. We know what the charges are going to be without seeing the indictment. It's going to be racketeering. It's going to be sex trafficking. It's going to be things along those lines. This is what we've been expecting since the searches in March. He, to his great credit, he voluntarily came to New York. Not a lot of defendants do that. He came to New York to basically engage the court system and start the case.
The music mogul is in an ambiguous legal scenario when Diddy's well-known lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, unexpectedly withdrew from his case, causing confusion both inside and outside the courtroom. This sudden ruling has shocked the entertainment and legal industries and raised critical questions about Diddy's defense against grave and complex accusations. Diddy's legal team faces a critical moment that might impact the outcome of one of the most well-publicized cases in recent celebrity history, so they must swiftly regroup as the trial date draws near and pressure mounts. Diddy's former attorney, Mark Agnifilo, who is well known for handling complex, high-profile cases, has previously spoken firmly about Diddy's commitment to openly defending himself.
And the point person behind that request and Diddy's team is defense attorney Mark Agnifilo. If that name is familiar to you, it may be because you've heard it before. He's repped several high-profile defendants, like the NXIVM cult leader Keith Raniere and Roger Ng, a former Goldman Sachs banker convicted of bribery and money laundering. We'll get to those cases in a second, but first, a bit about Agnifilo's history. He received a bachelor's degree in philosophy and political science from Connecticut College in 1986. In 1990, he received his Juris degree from Brooklyn Law School, and while there, even received the American Jurisprudence Award for Outstanding Performance in Trial Advocacy. Starting in 1998, Agnifilo began his work at the U.S. Attorney's Office in the District of New Jersey. There, he worked as the chief of Violent Crime Unit and specialized in cases involving murder, money laundering, extortion, and drug trafficking. During his tenure there, Agnifilo became a nationally recognized expert in sophisticated criminal prosecutions and the RICO statute, the very same statute that Diddy is now charged under. Agnifilo stayed with the U.S. Attorney's Office until 2006, when he began work at the law office of Benjamin Brafman, who, by the way, repped Diddy in his trial regarding the New York nightclub shooting.
Agnifilo had hinted at Diddy's potential testifying intentions, emphasizing his resolve to address the charges directly while dismissing some of them as false or misleading. The trial for the matter, which has drawn a lot of media attention, is set for 2025. Now that a key lawyer has gone and new legal conflicts are always arising, Diddy's defense team must contend with the challenge of maintaining stability in the face of growing scrutiny and legal setbacks. The stability and direction of Diddy's legal strategy have come under scrutiny after Mark Agnifilo abruptly left Combs' defense team in this well-known federal case. Diddy's defense has benefited greatly from the assistance of Agnifilo, who is renowned for his extensive knowledge of controversial cases, most notably his representation of Keith Raniere of NXIVM. He claimed that Diddy would testify in his own defense and presented the accusations as a racist overreach by federal agents. He and Diddy had vehemently rejected the idea of a plea agreement, arguing Diddy's innocence and his determination to fight the charges in court, despite extensive media coverage and several allegations of racketeering and trafficking.
Referred to as, among other things, freak-offs. Now, you can be a freak and it's not illegal, but you can't force people to do shit. And this is what I'm getting at. When you have a lot of money and you have no accountability and you want to do whatever the fuck you want to do whenever the fuck you want to do it, I think you can go a little bonkers.
You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
I mean, he's complaining to a teenager that you don't really want to hang out with me. Okay, but he didn't do this. Just so you know, he didn't do this. He did not do this. He doesn't have... Oh my God, look at all that baby oil. He didn't do this. He didn't have all these bottles of baby oil for nothing.
And we'll fight every day until we don't have to fight anymore.
That means when he's out of money.
He's not afraid of the charges. There's nothing that the government...
Okay, that's just dumb. He's not afraid of the charges? Wouldn't you be afraid of the charges? Where are you? You're in fucking Rikers Island. You goddamn well better be afraid. They just executed 2 search warrants. They've got obliterated serial numbers on firearms. They've got videos and baby oil. You know, what he needs is somebody to tell him what the truth is. You are absolutely You're going to prison for the good portion of the rest of your life. I guarantee you, they've offered immunity to the people around him so that they testify.
In a federal case, Diddy is accused of several serious crimes, including as trafficking, racketeering, and compulsion. For the past decade, Combs has used his position of authority to take advantage of women, according to federal officials. Several of these accusations claim that Combs coerced guests into taking personal activities during opulent occasions by using force, intimidation, and threats of professional retaliation. He is also accused of distributing narcotics and manipulating these individuals through coercion. Additionally, he allegedly used the video recordings of these encounters to manipulate his victims. All of the major charges since the investigation began have been categorically denied by Diddy's legal team. By asserting that the prosecution's evidence is primarily conjectural and lacks the concrete proof that is occasionally required in significant criminal cases, his defense team, led by attorneys Mark Agnifilo and Tenny Garagos, is attempting to purposefully weaken the case.
And separate from the freak-offs, Combs, among other things, hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims at times by their hair. And you keep in mind, these victims are going to come in and testify. Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. I don't want to fuck him anymore. Too bad. You're going to fuck him some more. They also got 1,000 bottles of baby oil. They got terabytes and terabytes of videos. Remember I was telling you they got all those electronics? Somebody like this guy wants to preserve that. I guarantee you it's all there.
Agnifilo's public statements indicate that the allegations mostly rest on witness testimony and claims that the defense considers untrustworthy and devoid of impartial evidence. This defense tactic suggests that the prosecution's evidence does not meet the level of proof required for conviction in a case involving such serious charges by focusing on a he said, she said narrative. According to Agnifilo, Diddy is being portrayed as the target of character assassination rather than a conspirator, since the evidence against him appears to be based more on accusations than on concrete, verifiable facts. In reality, the defense's tactic may influence public opinion and appeal to individuals who are skeptical of how the justice system handles well-known black people by depicting Diddy as the victim of a violent, racially motivated prosecution. Diddy's legal team has vigorously sought for his release on bail with an extraordinarily high offer. They recently requested for a $50 million bail package, bolstered by his $48 million mansion on Miami's Star Island and an additional $2 million from his mother's home.
Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial in May on his sex trafficking charge. Judge at a hearing in Manhattan set the trial date, also discussing a gag order imposed on prosecutors and the defense, telling them not to discuss the case or provide any material about the case to the media, to the public. They contend that the government leaked a damaging piece of evidence potentially against Combs when a videotape from 2016 was played on CNN earlier this year. That video shows Sean Combs and his then girlfriend Cassie in a hotel in Los Angeles. It had been a secret, private for many years, but then it came to the forefront and was played publicly on CNN. The defense contends that that tape was leaked by investigators. Prosecutors say they have no knowledge of any leak, and they refute the allegation that they were involved in any leaks. The judge says he will consider potentially having an evidentiary hearing to get to the bottom of that. That won't happen for some time. First the defense and then the prosecution will submit paperwork outlining their positions on this.
In addition to the property promise, Diddy's legal team has offered other guarantees, including GPS tracking and travel restrictions that limit him to Florida, New York, and New Jersey. His own aircraft, which he purportedly intends to sell, would remain grounded as an additional compliance measure. To ease concerns about the allegations, the organization has also proposed strict restrictions on who is allowed to access Diddy's house. Only close family members, caretakers, and a few non-co-defendant friends would be allowed in, and visits would be meticulously documented. This limitation aims to disprove the prosecution's contention that Diddy may pose a risk of committing the alleged acts if he were allowed to go free. Despite these substantial concessions, prosecutors continue to hold their ground, arguing that Diddy's release might still be risky and that his riches could allow for a potential flight risk should he be released before trial. Tenny Garagos, a member of Diddy's defense team, has worked hard to contrast his case with that of other well-known defendants, like Harvey Weinstein and R. Kelly. However, Garagos draws attention to the disparities, asserting that Diddy's case lacks certain types of evidence that were necessary to secure convictions against R. Kelly and Weinstein.
Secret tape recordings in Diddy's homes. Diddy appears to be a voyeur that likes to spy on people on his hidden cameras, which are wired in secret places all over his mansions. Little Rod's lawsuit revealed that Mr. Combs had hidden cameras in every single room of his home, including in the bathrooms and shower heads. The evidence revealed that Diddy had recordings of several celebrities and artists engaging in illegal activity. These individuals were recorded without knowledge and consent. Mr. Combs possesses compromising footage of every person who has attended his freak-off parties, so the entire hip industry could implode before our very eyes as the feds review the evidence. It was revealed that Diddy allegedly has freak-off footage of Beyonce.
Garagos has expressly insisted that Diddy's case is apart from other legal cases since his claims lack children and concrete evidence, such as recordings of explicit behavior. By highlighting these differences and confining the matter to concerns of consenting adult behavior, Garagos tries to define the claims as ethically subjective but not unlawful. Garagos' strategy of juxtaposing Diddy's case with those of other well-known defendants, such as Kelly and Weinstein, has both potential advantages and disadvantages for Diddy's defense. By drawing attention to the absence of crucial damning evidence, Garagos seeks to separate Diddy's charges from the specific circumstances that led to Weinstein and Kelly's convictions. She is able to disprove the notion that Diddy's actions constitute organized crime by presenting them as amicable adult relationships by drawing this contrast. By focusing the narrative on the lack of concrete evidence, this tactic seeks to reduce the unfavorable public perceptions that are occasionally associated with cases involving well-known offenders.
It's not all the time they say this, but they say, this is going our way. Not the bail. They say we have them. We got a lot of people who are going to talk and say that this is what Diddy was about, and some people may pass it off as hip-hop culture, but it is a series of felonies. And what do they have wrong?
They did say in court today, they've talked to 50 witnesses. We said the same thing. We've been doing a parallel investigation every single step of the way, talking to every single there's the same kind of universe of people here that he's been around. We're talking to people to show that we have a case. He's fighting, he's innocent, and he's gonna be able to show it.
Innocent means he didn't do any of the wrong things. Not guilty means they can't make the case,
He's
right?
innocent.
So you think he did none of these things? He was never present in any of these activities? This wasn't his lifestyle?
But a lifestyle and being present in activities doesn't mean he committed a crime.
Unless those activities and that lifestyle are criminal.
But those activities and the lifestyle is not criminal. What was notable today, what my partner Mark said in court, is they never once said that these women didn't consent to what happened. Not once.
Given the gravity of the accusations against him, legal experts estimate that Combs might face a lengthy prison sentence if convicted. The federal indictment charges the defendants with racketeering, trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transporting individuals for prostitution under the Federal Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations RICO Act. While the RICO allegation alone carries a potential life sentence, the trafficking charge carries a mandatory minimum of 15 years in prison if proven guilty. Diddy might receive a life sentence in this case, depending on the total fines for all of the offenses. Higher terms are often imposed by federal sentencing criteria in cases such as these involving organized crime, trafficking, and interstate offenses. When exposed to media coverage before the trial, jurors' opinions and public opinion can be influenced by the involvement of legal professionals and public assessments. The legal repercussions of cases like Diddy's, which include grave allegations under federal crimes like RICO and trafficking, are frequently discussed by experts. This supports the notion that the trial is a precedent-setting event in addition to being a celebrity case. Given the popularity of the Me Too movement and prior high-profile convictions like those of R. Kelly and Harvey Weinstein, these perspectives shape the trial's narrative and present it as an important judicial case with broader societal repercussions. Additionally, commentators note that the defense may still face significant challenges even if they are successful in demonstrating reasonable doubt for certain claims.
Turned raunchy.
People were getting high. There were girls swimming topless, looking girls that were, not dressed. We moved to another part of the house so that he wouldn't be exposed to what was going on.
In later years, implemented a curfew for children.
The kids have like an hour left. So get extra comfortable, because this thing turns into something that when y'all get older, y'all don't want to come to.
I think he's a monster.
This week, Houston's lawyer Tony Busby says more than 120 people are coming forward claims Diddy sexually abused them.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15.
Did Diddy assault you in any way?
When you say assault, I don't know the exact definition, but he put his arm around me in an uncomfortable way.
Diddy is now behind bars, facing charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. He denies all claims of sexual abuse, including against.
Tony Busby, an attorney based in Houston, said this week that more than 120 people are coming forward with claims that Diddy sexually abused them. Because RICO racketeer influenced and corrupt organizations' accusations are compounded, prosecutors can argue that even claims that have little to no link to one another are part of a larger organized criminal structure. Prosecutors are able to limit the defense's ability to isolate specific instances by presenting them as crucial parts of a wider, intentional pattern of behavior. Because of the combined effect of expert testimony and shifting public opinion, the defense is under pressure to employ innovative strategies to counter the prosecution's narrative. According to the indictment, Diddy is accused of organizing events, including mistreating guests and even hindering the administration of justice, as part of a criminal enterprise. Legal analyst Ellie Honig emphasized that the defense faces a major challenge when RICO charges and trafficking accusations are brought together. Each charge has significant weight, increasing the potential penalty in the case of a conviction. This link not only complicates Diddy's case, but it also draws more attention to it as the prosecution tries to provide a complete picture of the illegal activities that demonstrates the gravity of the allegations.
His career is still very much so an icon and influential figure. So she's just a young girl from Northern California who's gonna believe that he had done something to her like this. So she didn't tell anybody. She did not hire an attorney. All she did was make the police report in the hopes that maybe the police would try to investigate and come up with anything. But she said she kind of felt from the police that they were disregarding what she was saying, even without saying Mr. Combs' name. So she didn't feel any confidence that revealing his name would have done anything.
Sure. I mean, but there's a police report. Yeah. I mean, that fact in of itself is a big deal, because when you're talking about going back in time and talking about these allegations from other alleged victims, you know, there's not a lot of police reports, but you guys actually have one. And is that going to be revealed? Are we going to be able to see it?
Yes, as soon as I file my lawsuit in civil court, I will be attaching the criminal complaint that was made. I'll attach the numbers so everyone can see that this is a real number, can go to the police department there and request their own copy of that police report that was made back in 2018.
Well, that's going to be a huge deal when it happens, obviously, so we want to follow up on that. Did Mr. Combs have any reaction? Do you know if he was interviewed? I mean, he was named in the police report?
I don't think so. Based on what she said, she really felt that the police were trying to bury this and disregard her claims and not really investigate, which is another reason why a lot of victims don't report these things to the police. We have to address the elephant in the room is that we have them, especially women, who go to the police, who are typically men, who don't actually investigate these things. They victim blame, they victim shame, and women don't feel safe or even protected to even make these claims because they don't think they'll be taken seriously, nor will their claims be investigated.
Diddy will likely need to make both psychological and physical adjustments as he gets used to living in a facility designed to limit outside contact and enforce strong security protocols. His detention highlights the gravity of the charges against him, as inmates held without bail are typically viewed as potential flight risks or dangers to society. The quick shift from his previous attitude to the MDC's constraints serves as a vivid reminder of his legal concerns and the serious repercussions they imply. The intense public reaction to Diddy's case and comparisons to other well-known celebrity cases have increased the pressure on his legal team to deny the related charges against him. The nature of the allegations increases the scrutiny since plea agreements in cases involving forced trafficking are not particularly flexible under federal standards. Given that Diddy might get a hefty jail sentence if proven guilty, this revelation significantly raises the stakes. The current case will be a crucial test of how well his defense can defeat the tremendous power of federal prosecutors in a high-profile situation where the tension between public opinion and legal realities amplifies the tale. As the trial approaches, every move made by the defense will be closely examined, affecting not just Diddy's verdict, but also broader discussions around accountability in the entertainment industry.
There is a reason that people say you don't want to catch a federal case. If you have a federal case, the feds bring you in, you've been indicted, more often than not, I mean, what did you say the number?
95%.
They're gonna get you. You're gonna be convicted of something. And that's what Diddy is facing.
Unlimited resources. It is hard to match that if you are a defendant in a case.
But it has been done, as we told you at the beginning of the show.
John
DeLorean did, so it can be done, but can it be done in this particular case? We said that Diddy has incredible resources that will help, but if the case is as strong as it appears at this point, or at least as the feds have presented it, you would think there's no chance. But maybe they're not presenting exactly what they have at this point?
Well, the thing is, it's usually, in terms of public perception, the strongest the day the indictment comes out because you haven't heard the defense.
Federal sentencing guidelines for RICO and trafficking charges provide significant problems since convictions for these counts can carry long or even life sentences. The likelihood of a multi-decade or life sentence in Diddy's case highlights the high stakes of the trial, especially since RICO standards contain cumulative punishments that reflect the interrelated nature of the accused activities. What are your thoughts on Diddy's present situation and the serious charges he is up against? With everything on the line, how do you feel about the trial's potential outcomes and how they may impact his life and career? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below.